Hi guys, and welcome back to I Speak English. My name's Hayley, and in this lesson I'm going to be showing you some collocations for your Cambridge C1 exam on the topic of travel. So collocations are really important for your Cambridge C1 exam because they kind of help your vocabulary to be more varied and also more accurate as well, because certain words go with certain other words, and if you get the collocation wrong, it can kind of sound a bit strange when you're speaking. Okay, so these are going to help you definitely in your speaking, also in your writing as well, and in use of English as well, because you'll be tested there. Okay, but before we take a look at the collocations, please do make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you hit the bell so you get a notification from me every time I upload a new video. Our long videos are every Saturday and I upload shorts every single day. So make sure that you subscribe and do give this video a like if you learned something new today. Alright, let's get started. Alright, let's take a look at some of these collocations then. First of all, if you're not sure what a collocation is, it's just a combination of words. Basically, certain adjectives go with certain nouns, certain verbs go with certain adverbs, certain nouns go with certain verbs. And if you don't get the right one, like I said before, it just sounds a bit... It just doesn't sound right. So you need to get the right combination in order to sound kind of more natural. Okay, for example, like heavy rain. We wouldn't say strong rain or hard rain, we'd say heavy rain. Same with blonde hair, not yellow hair. Okay, pay attention. So we don't give attention, we don't do attention, we don't gift attention, we pay attention in English. So that's what a collocation is, just a combination of different words. So in today's lesson, we're taking a look at travel. There are collocations for today. So we're going to take a look at 4 collocations with go on. So this might seem really simple to you if you're advanced level. The reason I've included this is because I hear this mistake all the time when I'm listening to students, particularly with trip. Okay, so you can see here that you would say go on a trip. Again, it might seem really simple, but all the time I hear students say, oh, I did a trip. I do a trip. We never use do with trip. Okay, it's always go on a trip. For example, we're going on a trip to London next year, not we're doing a trip to London. Okay, so it's like little things like this that you think is not that important, but actually at C1 level, you'll lose marks if you say the wrong thing. Okay. So go on a trip, go on a tour. We went on a free walking tour around Liverpool, for example. Not we did a tour. Again, you don't use do. An excursion, you go on an excursion. We went on an excursion in South Africa 2 years ago. Okay. And a vacation as well. Go on vacation, go on holiday. Okay, I'm going on vacation next week. Again, it might seem really simple, and it is really simple. It's not difficult to learn. But just bear it in mind when you're speaking, because if you use the wrong one, it sounds strange and you'll get lower marks in your speaking exam or writing if that's how you're using it. Okay, so really simple to start with. Next up, we're going to take a look at some adjective-noun collocations. Okay, so we're going to do adjective-noun, we're going to do verb-adverb, and we're also going to do noun-verb collocations as well. All right. So the first one we're going to look at is a packed itinerary, which just means that your kind of schedule is really busy. Your vacation schedule is really busy. For example, you could say our packed itinerary left no time to rest. Okay. I'm going to show you how to use this in the exam later. I'm going to show you examples in Speaking Part 1, Speaking Part 4 as well. But for now, we're just going to take a look at the meaning. Okay. So packed itinerary, you're just really busy on your holiday. And the next one is the scenic route. This is quite nice. The scenic route is when you take like a longer route or a longer way to get to your destination, but it's usually more beautiful. So you're probably going through the countryside or maybe like along the coast when you could have just taken a motorway and it would have been easier, but the scenic route is more beautiful. For example, we took the scenic route along the coast. We normally collocate this with take as well. You take a route. Okay, so you've got another verb collocation there. We took the scenic route. Next one, affordable accommodation. Okay, so you could also say cheap accommodation as well, but affordable, slightly more advanced word. Okay. For example, the city offers plenty of affordable accommodation options. You could say that. And our next one is reliable transport. Okay, so good transport. Instead of saying good transport, you could say reliable transport. For example, reliable transport is essential for tourists. Okay. So there are 4 adjective-noun collocations that you can use when you're talking about travel. Before we take a look at our next collocations, if you'd like to kind of study these in a bit more of a systematic way, just to kind of get them in your head a bit more, I put some flashcards in the description for you. Okay, they're free, by the way. You can just download them from there. Click the link in the description there. There's 100 C1 collocations, and you've got flashcards and a PDF there. You can use them on Quizlet, which is a great free app for learning vocabulary. So I would suggest that you set up an account there, and you can even make your own flashcard sets as well, or you can use mine if it's easier. So click the link in the description and you can practice these collocations and 100 more as well, just to help you for your C1 exam. Next up, we're going to take a look at adverb-verb collocations. Okay, so our first one is to travel extensively, which means to travel a lot. Okay, so she travelled extensively for work. So instead of saying travel a lot, just say travel extensively. Next one is to completely unwind. Okay, I need to get away somewhere so I can completely unwind. Okay, so to completely relax, to kind of forget about work, forget about all your responsibilities, and just relax. So instead of saying relax, you can say unwind. Again, your vocabulary is just a bit more varied if you use these collocations. Be wary of this one. We don't really use it in the past. We wouldn't really say I completely unwound. It sounds a bit weird. We would generally just use it in the present. I need to unwind or something like that. Next up, to freely roam. Okay, visitors can freely roam around the ancient ruins. To roam is to just kind of go around or walk around with no specific direction. Okay, you've got no specific goal, nowhere you want to go, you're just kind of going everywhere around. Okay, so you can freely roam, you can go wherever you like, basically. And our final one, to eagerly explore. Okay, they eagerly explored the city on foot. If you're eager, you are enthusiastic, you want to do this thing. Eagerly is the adverb. Okay, so you eagerly explore, you're going everywhere, trying to see everything. Okay. So there are adverb-verb collocations, and then we've got our verb-noun collocations. Okay. These are always tricky. This is where I probably see the most mistakes in collocations is with certain verbs, because you're, pulling from your native language when you're speaking in English, and you're probably translating a little bit. Like I gave you the example with pay attention instead of give attention or something like that. Go on holiday, not do a holiday. Okay. So watch out for these, because this is where I see most mistakes, really, when I'm listening to students. So our first one is miss a connection. Okay, if you have a flight, if you have a connecting flight, you would miss that connection, okay? Not lose a connection. That's a common mistake I see. A lot of people say, I lost the train. You can't lose a train in English, you miss a train, okay? Because if you say, I lose a train, it's like saying the train is your property, like you bought the train, okay? So you need to say you miss the train, you miss a connection, you missed your plane, okay? An example, we missed our connection due to a delayed flight. Next one, have or suffer with jet lag. So you would have jet lag or you would suffer with jet lag. Okay, for example, I always have jet lag after flying for 8 hours. If you don't know what jet lag is, it's when you cross different time zones that have a very big gap in time, and then you can't sleep properly. You're incredibly tired. because you're in a different time zone than you were before. That's jet lag. Okay, so you have jet lag or you suffer from jet lag. Next up, we've got to face delays. Okay, nice collocation there. Travellers faced long delays at the airport, for example. You could probably say have a delay. No, we'd probably say I got delayed, actually. You'd probably use the passive for my got delayed or I was delayed. Or you can face a delay. Okay, you could use either of those. And take a detour. Our final one. A detour is when you go in a different direction to how you originally planned. Okay, so we took a detour to avoid traffic, for example. If you're on one road and that's the road you planned, and then you go off and you take a different road, that's a detour. And that collocates with the verb take. Okay. All right, so they are all of our collocations for now. Next up, we're going to take a look at how you would use these specifically in your speaking. You might also get tested on these in use of English, and you should be able to use them in writing as well. But we're just going to concentrate on part 1 and part 4 speaking. Okay. So if you get the question in part 1, for example, do you enjoy travelling? You can respond, absolutely. I've had the chance to travel extensively over the past few years, mainly around Europe and Southeast Asia. For me, what's most exciting is just being able to freely roam around new cities and coming across little gems that aren't in the guidebooks. Okay, so we've got 2 collocations there that we already looked at, travel extensively and freely roam. I've also added a few more here. I've got come across as a phrasal verb. So remember, when you're speaking, you should be actively using phrasal verbs when you get to advanced level, because it's just a natural feature of English speech. You hear phrasal verbs a lot when native speakers are talking, so you also have to use them as well. And little gems. A gem is a precious stone, like a diamond or a ruby or something. But we also use it to describe like a precious place, like a lovely little place that nobody knows about. Like it's very rare, and yeah, you want to protect this place because it's so nice. So you come across little gems that aren't in the guidebook. So a gem could be a restaurant. It could be could be a mountain. Any place that you deem is kind of unique and rare and has a nice quality to it, you could describe as a little gem. Okay, very nice collocation again. If you can use that, you'll get higher marks in your exam. All right, another part 1 question. How do you plan your holidays? You could answer, for example. I tend to be quite organised, so I usually end up with a fairly packed itinerary, especially if I know I won't be back in that place anytime soon. I try to book affordable accommodation in advance and make sure there's reliable transport available, because the last thing I want is to miss a connection or face delays that mess up my plans. Okay, we've got a lot of collocations here. Packed itinerary, affordable accommodation, reliable transport, miss a connection, face delays. We've got 5 different collocations here. We've also got 2 phrasal verbs. End up with. Okay, if you end up with something, end up we use to say that situation is finished in a particular way. Okay, to end up doing something or to end up with something. Speaking of phrasal verbs, actually, if you want to learn more phrasal verbs or if you're struggling with them, I've got a few videos. I'll link one up here and I'll link one in the description as well. Save them for later and you can watch them at another time. I've got quite a few for speaking now, so take a look at them and they should help you for your speaking as well. So I've got end up with, and we've also got mess up as well at the bottom here. I want to face delays that mess up my plans. Mess up is like ruin. You ruin your plans, or literally make a mess of if you mess something up. Okay. All right, we'll do one more part 1 question. So do you prefer relaxing holidays or active ones? You could respond. It really depends on my mood. If I'm stressed from work, I'd like to go on a vacation somewhere quiet, like a beach resort, where I can completely unwind for a few days. But other times I'm more adventurous. I'll go on a trip to a city I've never been to and eagerly explore everything it has to offer. Okay, so again, go on a vacation, go on a trip, okay, completely unwind, eagerly explore. So you can see why kind of collocations are important here. They just, they really just help to bring more variety to your speech rather than just saying, oh, I like to relax. Completely unwind. It's just a bit more varied, a bit more descriptive, All right, we'll take a look at part 4 then. Part 4 questions, for example. Do you think it's better to travel alone or in a group? What do you think, actually? Let me know in the comments. Do you prefer to travel alone or in a group? Leave me a little response trying to use some of these collocations, and I'll correct you if you need it. Okay, let's take a look. This is my response. I think both have their advantages, but personally, I prefer traveling independently. When you're not tied to a schedule, you can take a detour if something catches your eye, or just freely roam around without feeling rushed. That said, sometimes it's great to go on a tour, especially in historic places where you can learn things you might otherwise miss. Okay, so I've got some extra ones for you here again. So to be tied to a schedule, nice collocation there. If you're tied to a schedule, it means your schedule's very rigid and you have to do it. Like you're stuck with this thing. You can't let go of it, or you can't get away from it. You're tied to it. We've got take a detour. Something catches your eye. That's a really nice collocation there, to catch your eye. So something catches your eye, it draws your attention, okay, or it appeals to you, because your eyes literally go like that, as if something has caught them like that. So to catch your eye, nice collocation. Freely roam and go on tour again. What was the other thing I wanted to point out here? That said. Yeah, that said. That's a nice, here. That said. Sometimes it's great. That said is like a kind of more informal way to say however. It's like a contrasting linker. So it's really nice to use in speaking instead of using however, because it's just a bit more informal. Okay. So use it when you want to contrast a previous idea with the idea that you're about to say. All right, another question, part 4. Do you think people will travel in the future, or more people will travel in the future? We can say maybe. If flights get cheaper and affordable accommodation is easier to find, more people are likely to go on trips abroad. However, we could say that said, we might also see an increase in problems like overcrowding at tourist attractions, or travellers having to face delays due to high demand for flights and trains. Okay, so we've got affordable accommodation, go on a trip, face delays. Okay, haven't really got any extra vocab here for you. Overcrowding, maybe, if you've never heard of that. All right, and one more. What makes a holiday truly memorable for you? Okay, so for me, what makes a holiday unforgettable is a mix of good company, a bit of adventure, and unique experiences. I love it when I can go on an excursion off the beaten path, or take a scenic route that shows me a completely different side of a place. I also appreciate having reliable transport, because nothing ruins the mood like having to face delays or miss a connection. And of course, if I can completely unwind at the end of the day in affordable accommodation, that's the perfect balance for me. So I've got a ton of collocations here. Sorry, I forgot to highlight them or put them in bold. But we've got go on an excursion. Off the beaten path, nice idiomatic expression there. Again, if you need some more idiomatic expressions, I've got a video. I'll put it up there for you, save it for later. And I think this idiom is actually included in that video. If you go off the beaten path, you go to a less touristy place or a kind of unknown place, somewhere that's not that popular, is off the beaten path, or off the beaten track, you can also say as well. So we've got off the beaten path, we've got a scenic route, okay, reliable transport, to ruin the mood, that could be a nice one. Face delays, miss a connection, completely unwind, and affordable accommodation. Alright, so there we go. There are our collocations for travel. There are plenty more collocations that exist for this topic. Again, if you want to know more, click the link in the description for the flashcards, the Collocation Flashcards, and there's 100 of them there for you. And they're kind of organised by topic as well. So click that if you want to learn more collocations. I've also got other videos for other topics for collocations. Make sure you check the channel for the rest of my videos. And if you found this video useful or if you learned something new, please do give it a like. That just helps it to reach more people so that they can prepare for their C1 exam as well, and just helps me to know that I'm actually doing something that's useful for you. So I'll continue to make more videos on collocations in the future. If you've got any questions or anything about the Cambridge C1 exam, just let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you when I can. And if you'd like to take a lesson with me, go to www.englishclassesonline.co.uk and you can find my schedule and book me there if you need any more help with the C1 exam. Alright, that's all for me for today. I'll see you in another class soon.